Welcome back to this final round of SL Chennai Speaks Out. There's a common perception that the big sharks get away. It's only the small, the small fry who get caught.
The stipulation is there that it should be, completed, within a short period. So most of the criminal cases, almost they'll be completed within a period of 6 months. At least the major cases I'm talking about, the cases tried by the Sessions Court.
Is that the case, Ozzy? 6 months, he says?
No, I want to add a point.
That's why we have got this fast track courts.
Wrong.
Let's go back to Henry Tiffin of People's Watch. Henry, judicial delays, that clearly frustrates the criminal justice system, right?
I think people moving on to other avenues, they are forced to, because the judiciary doesn't function. Doesn't function at a speed which the right to life under our constitution has assured us. And therefore, it is the judiciary which has to take the blame. It is pure and simple, the judiciary. If there are 200 vacancies in high courts in the country, it is none other than the collegium in the Supreme Court which has to take responsibility. They took the responsibility of ensuring the judges will be filled. If there are vacancies in the Supreme Court, they have to take the responsibility primarily. And therefore, judicial delays, it is the judiciary and those connected with the judiciary, for example, our legal fraternity, which has to ensure that you come up with a mechanism, don't show your adalats, don't show your arbitrations, don't show your mediations as the way. People have a right to a justice system which is not slow, but which is calm, where both sides are heard and nobody is forced into accepting something only because he or she has waited for 5 years, 4 years, etc. People in accidents now wait on an average for about 5 years, and I think this is total injustice. And it is this injustice in the judiciary which is permeating and the Katta Panchayats that take place.
Today we talk so much of human rights. Today in the government, the post of IG Human Rights is considered a punishment posting. So where is our priority?
You want me to comment on the IG human rights or
also
on the judiciary?
on our priority to reform the criminal justice system?
No, to reform the criminal justice system, the judiciary definitely has to be, the judicial system has to be reformed, there is no doubt. But prior to that, the point Radhakrishnan was making, I'll just say this, that there is too much of laws with extensive arbitrary powers with the police.
If cases are not being done at the pace which we would expect it to go, then it's only because of the fact that we don't have enough judges as per the population requirements.
Why do you keep adjourning cases? If it's a rich man's case, it's adjourned 10 times, 20 times, pass over, then this, that. If it's a criminal case, the public prosecutor's on leave. APP says, I won't argue the case. Why this racket in the courts? If you want speedy trial, you can say quota of a judge is completed. That's all rubbish, my friends. Rubbish, total rubbish. That is all theory you're talking about. I'm telling you, you can delay a case, for a civil dispute for 15 years. For 15 years, you can delay a civil dispute. For what? You don't need to do that. An ordinary criminal case, a girl sexually abused in a school in Palavaram. She had to appear 4 times in the magistrate. A girl abused, raped, 9-year-old girl had to appear 4 times in the magistrate court under this fast track court. Why do we allow these things? This is absolute nonsense. Women are made to appear in the court so many times. No justice received. How many times people are asked to go to the courts? PP is there one day, PP is handling. APP not there. AB goes on leave, PP is gone on leave. Then the defendant lawyer doesn't turn up. You go on like this. You must have a system of reform where 1, 2, gone, finished. What is it? Why do you have to keep adjourning 10 times? For what reason?
You can give illustrations, but you can't build a theory on it.
I can.
See, you can.
I can give you 100
you
illustrations.
Can do that. You can give 100, but against each 100 that you give, there will be at least 1,000 which will be against you.
No.
Why not?
I'm asking you to show. You show me data for courts.
See what he says. See he's talking about. See how many cases that a particular judge has to do it. Okay, they also have a system.
You blame the public prosecutors, you blame the judiciary, you blame the police officers, you blame the media. There are also, Ozzy Fernandez, we respect, we know, is a credible, comes from a credible NGO, from a human rights organization. So is Henry Tiffin. But there are several, fake human rights organizations masquerading as, as NGOs, and they collude with the lower levels in the police department and frustrate the process of justice. Isn't that the case, Ozzy?
It is true, and it is true, and many of them are through political parties. they have the full support of political parties, of a particular section of political parties.
No, but you don't blame politicians for that.
No.
You don't blame politicians for
I'm
that.
not saying that it's politicians, but they have the support of political parties.
See,
and
sir,
it is true. And it is true that I have seen several cases that while we do want to promote as many human rights organizations, decentralize as many human rights organizations, there is a section of them that have been colluding.
Exactly. So you mean there are
With the
rogues?
police.
There are rogues in every organization. So it doesn't mean that you say the entire organization is out.
No, I'm not saying that.
The easiest thing today is to be an activist. Because you can sit on your armchair, you can comment on
My
everything.
friend, my
you
friend.
don't understand the pressure
My
that the
friend, you
judiciary
telling
faces
me that?
today. No, I'm not
You're
saying
telling
about
me
you.
that?
No, you did not blame me directly.
I'll call you for every fact-finding I go to.
That's exactly what
Okay,
I'm saying.
and if you don't come-
I have been a part of fact-finding myself.
And if you
Believe
don't
me,
come,
I have
I'll
been a part
haul
of,
you.
No, I have been a part of fact-finding myself. So let's not talk about statistics. I'm not
I-
blaming
I-
you. Let's not make this a personal debate.
Facts are not the
I'm-
privy of an activist. Truth is not the privy of an NGO.
Yes.
So
Like
what
is-
we need to look at is what do we need to do urgently? We said reform is urgent for the criminal justice system. One, we have to inject a measure of autonomy into the functioning of the police by implementation of the Prakash Singh bill or the Prakash Singh judgment. That is what we have to build national consensus on.
And accountability.
I'm in a car. That is next point. There are 3 A's. You have hit the second A, and that is accountability. Building checks and balances into the system. And third is accessibility. Make it accessible to the rural poor man. Make it accessible so that he doesn't have to register FIR.
Whose job is it?
What do you need to
It
do?
is your job to make it
No,
accessible.
how do we do it? You don't rely on human beings. You create a machine interface and the man comes, no, nothing to do with FOP. You come and put your complaint on a machine, just like you deposit a book in the British Council.
I think what we've heard of a case of Gopi,
Yeah.
a notorious criminal,
Yeah.
who you almost reformed, that at least that's what you claimed.
Quite a few.
Tell us
criminals.
about Gopi's case.
Gopi's case is this guy was hardly 20-year-old, 6.5 feet height, and he was the king of dacoity. I mean, there were any number of dacoity cases against him. His MO was to get into a house in the middle of the day, broad daylight. The first thing he'll do is to stab the fellow. He'll first stab, not a fatal stab, but just a minor stab, so that he scares you, and then he'll ask for the key. Before that, he'll switch on the TV pretty loud, and then commit the dacoity, and the entire gang, he'll give them, let's say it takes about 1 lakh, he'll give them 1,099 is his.
It's a very compassionate thief.
Yeah, and then this guy, I had hardly 3 or 4 months into my service. I just joined as about 4 months or 5 months maybe. And this guy did surrender to me. And the first thing he asked was, sir, I want the wedding sari of my wife, which was taken by police. That's the only thing he asked, in fact, in return from me. We tried to find it, we couldn't find it. But then, this guy got reformed. He got all the criminals. He helped me to catch all the criminals in that area. And finally, that's one way. I mean, I'm not trying to again say that, you know, the age-old saying, they said a thief to catch a thief did work. But it's not that the police was not working. Police was also doing its bit. But this guy could be reformed. He is one of the most notorious criminals. He got reformed, and not only reformed, he worked for us. He worked for us, and he produced results.
All right, interesting case. I want to pass the mic to the ladies behind, in fact, Lavanya from the School of Excellence. Reformation, I mean, when you study law and you're going to become lawyers very soon, reformation is almost a forgotten aspect in our criminal justice system. We talk about it, but we really don't do enough.
Yeah, I think with respect to, you know, reformation, I think even after the person, you know, you convict him and he's charged of it, I think most often what happens is either you always seek for punitive measures. There has to be some form of reformation, you know, instead of always going for life imprisonment or things like that, or, you know, fining them or whatever that you know, the kind of punishment that is given to them. Why can't they go through measures which rehabilitate them and also bring them into, you know, a place where they can actually become better citizens? Because
Institutionalizing the gopis is what you're saying.
you know.
Yeah.
We're talking of reformation, also deterrence, capital punishment. There's still this constant debate that keeps surfacing about the need to, you know, do away with capital punishment. Ozzy Fernandez, I'm sure, would be backing something like that. Do you think if you completely abolish capital punishment, the effect, I mean, the deterrent effect will be lost completely?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm opposed to capital punishment as a mode of like dealing with criminals, and I think, I mean, studies world
What
over
is the
have
deterrence?
shown
What is
that.
the deterrence then?
See, I'm not sure, like, is there really a policy in India as with respect to even sentencing and how we actually, like, look at our criminal justice system? Are we even sure whether it's reform that we are looking at, or retribution we are looking at, or rehabilitation? Like, studies world over have shown that the capital punishment has no deterrent effect whatsoever. Like, people who have made up their minds to go commit murders or like any other heinous crimes will continue to do so, irrespective of the fact that there's capital punishment waiting. The only
Or they may actually
thing it
escape.
does-
Even forget capital punishment, they actually escape the clutches of law.
Yeah, that's the only thing that-
less economical through that particular thing.
See, the people who have done the crime, maybe they wanted to, they have already sacrificed their life. I mean, they have written their obituary. But what about people who are potential criminals? Once you say that he is not going to be killed, okay, you say, at best, what can happen to me? I can do the worst of the crimes, but what can happen
That
to
is
me?
because
I'll
I want to
be in
ask.
the jail.
I want to ask Akila
You
here.
can
That
still
is,
use air cell.
yeah. That is
The
because
worst that can happen to me is that
Akila,
it'll
I mean,
keep going on and I'll
the
never
fact
like,
that people
find, like,
are
the end of the
complacent,
matter.
in fact criminals believe that they can get away, is because we in India largely we don't have a witness protection program. People are still scared. Look at the number of witnesses who turn hostile. I don't want to mention cases. Case after case, sensational cases, witnesses completely turn hostile. There is no witness protection program in India. Is that also a reason for the failure of our system?
That is very true. Part of the reason why prosecution fails and very low rates of conviction we are recording is also because we don't have an efficient witness protection program. And this lack of infrastructure and lack of systems that are scientific and that will lead to a better criminal justice system is definitely hurting us.
Today, if you are the only state where Naxalites have not made a breakthrough, if today every investor looks at Tamil Nadu first before he goes to any other place, it is because of the police. It's because of the law and
Thank you
order.
very much. Thank you very much for joining us on this very, very mature and candid debate. Do we have the system that we deserve, the criminal justice system that we deserve? Do send us your feedback. You can email us to feedback@ndtv-hindu.com. From all of us on the Chennai Speaks Out team, thank you very much for joining us.